You guys ready, Michelle? You guys ready? But I can't pick up this mic. All right.
Well, no, because you have to talk into this one too.
Well, she said talking to this one.
Oh.
Okay. All
I
right.
mean, you can pull it up, and I can just push it back down.
Okay, welcome. Hello, my name is Eric Stroop. I'm the principal here at JSerra Catholic High School. And these mics are set at a low height, so I'm having to bend over a little bit, but I'm 6'8", so this is not comfortable for me. But let's stand for a quick prayer and then we'll get started. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you bless our time here tonight and help our families as they embark on this journey of selecting classes for their students as they get ready for high school. Bless all of our families in this decision process that they're going to have, and help our counselors and other academic specialists here tonight that are going to provide guidance to them to have the best wisdom and the individual decisions that the students and their parents are going to make. We ask for this in your blessed name. Amen. So just, I want to again welcome everyone here tonight. Obviously, the process of meeting your counselors and finding about all of the activities that our counseling department does is important. I can say this to all students: you need to know your counselors. These are going to be the people that in 4 years from now are going to be writing your letters of recommendation, and they're going to want to know you. They're going to want to know what your interests are. They're going to want to know what you've done at JSerra, how you performed academically. They're going to help you select colleges, and they're going to write your letters of recommendation. So it's very important, even as a freshman, to make the time to get to know your counselor. There's just a tremendous number of benefits in making that effort. We have an open door policy in our counseling department, so if you have time before school, after school, at break or lunch, come down and meet your counselors, and they're going to give you tremendously positive and sage advice in all things related to JSerra, not just about academics. One brief announcement for those students who are engaging in early edge, which is sort of our early training for football. The first session starts tonight at 6 o'clock. So if that's you or your son, not you, but if that's your son, and you have to kind of scoot out to go to that, that's perfectly acceptable. They're probably meeting in the weight room, which is behind the stairs here on the bottom. So I know that applies to my son. He's here somewhere. But if you need to bug out, this is recorded, and that's why we have our IT and audiovisual department here to record the session. So if you need to go back and review anything, you should be able to do so. But without further ado, I want to introduce Mrs. Michelle Murphy, who's going to take the task of introducing the rest of the team for the counseling department. But again, on behalf of the school, I welcome you here, and let's have a great night. Michelle.
Thank you, Eric. Well, welcome, class of 2027. Yay! You guys, we're so happy that you're all here. We are going to be going over a couple things tonight. And you're lucky that I'm short, so you can see over my head to the screen. I feel like I'm at a press conference here with all these microphones. It's kind of interesting. All right, so this is our counseling department overview. We are going to talk about everything counseling tonight. We are going to talk about what our roles are, the academic and college counselor role. We're going to give you some resources. We are going to talk about graduation requirements, and then we're going to give you, at the end, we're going to go over academic planning and course selection. So you will actually have time to, we're going to talk about the classes that you need to take and how you can sign up for those. All right. So who are we? We are your counselors right here. There are 6 of us. We are missing our leader, Mrs. Huey. She's out on leave, but she will be back in June. And we also have a university and college event coordinator, and she does all of our college events and activities. She is responsible for putting on our college fair. She gets all of the college reps here. She does college chats for parents. She does a multitude of things, and she's just amazing. We also have 3 marriage and family therapists, and those are for students who find that they need a little extra help in areas that are beyond our purview. And then our student counselor ratio is 1 to 220. So we meet, and that's spread over all 4 grades. All right, so let me introduce everybody. The first picture you see is Mrs. Huey, and she's not here, but she will be back in June. And then I'm going to let everybody else introduce themselves. I'm Mrs. Murphy, and I've been here, I think about 14 years, so I've been here a while.
Hello, everybody. My name is Garrett Roldan, and I've been here about a year now. Actually, in about 3 days, it's been a year, so pretty exciting.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Jasmine Stofko, and I've been here almost 2 years.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Jenna Nelson. I've been here since fall of 2021.
And good evening, everybody. My name is Monica Salaya. I have been here about 6.5 years, and I'll be co-presenting with Mrs. Murphy tonight.
Thank you, everyone. We also have, as you can see on the slides up here, Ms. Castro. She is the University Relations and College Event Coordinator. You'll see her picture up there. And then next to her is Mrs. Deaver. She's our registrar, and she is the one who keeps all the records. So she does the grades, the report cards. When you get to be a senior, she sends all your transcripts to the colleges. So she is a very important part of our department. And then Mrs. DeMurby, she is our administrative assistant, so she helps us out a lot. And then these are our therapists. We have 3, so we have coverage every day. We have Dr. Harkins, and we have Mrs. Sandoval-Meyer, and then we have Mr. Tashinsky, who is also one of our theology teachers here. Okay, so what we stand for, we came up with a mission, and our mission here is to seek to reflect God by serving JSerra students in the pursuit of excellence in their high school, college, academic, and personal development. So we're really excited that being at a faith-based school, we can talk about our faith with the students. Our vision, we believe all students can succeed, and we really strive to support the pursuit of their goals by helping them discover their purpose, encouraging self-actualization. We promote balance. We're really big on balance. We want to make sure that students are thriving academically, socially, and in their sports and spiritually as well. And then we also teach self-advocacy. That is a big point with us. We really want the students at the time they leave JSerra that they are their best self-advocate and really can be a good advocate for themselves in college and beyond. So, one of our main mottos here is, college is a match to be made and not a prize to be won. And what we mean by that is we really strive to help students find a good fit in a college. We don't want students to say, I want to go to this college because it's the best college in the United States. Well, maybe that's true, but maybe that's not the best college for them. So we really want students to take a good look at a lot of different colleges. We give them a lot of opportunities to do what we call self-actualization, so they can find out what their interests are, what kind of environments they would thrive in. We feel like it's really important for them to go somewhere where they're going to thrive academically, socially, spiritually. So that is something that we really stress to help them find a fit. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Zelaya. We're going to tag team here just so we keep you awake.
All right, so how do we come into play during your 4 years here at JSerra, right? What are we here for? So as your counselors, and many of us, by the way, have our PPS credential, and what that means is that our training and our education allows us to cover areas of counseling like academics, social emotional learning, and then college and career advising and counseling. So a couple of examples of that are, we go through 4-year planning with students. We always, and this is something that Mrs. Huey says all the time, we try to start with the end in mind. If you have a student who is really driven, wants to make sure that they're taking AP classes by junior and senior year, then start with that in mind and work your way backwards. So we help students really plan out some of their 4 years. Some of them don't need that big of a picture to work off of. We might just work on year-to-year academic planning, picking your courses every year. And that's something that we will have conversations with each and every one of you to check in on and see, what kind of goals do you have, whether they're academic or personal, athletic, spiritual, etc., right? We also cover the social emotional realm, right? So we talk life in our offices, right? We pride ourselves in developing relationships with our students so that we can tackle some of those, questions and challenges that come up. We sometimes will hear, oh, my teacher hates me and that's why I'm getting, a C in class or whatever. This is a very real concern of students and where they're at developmentally. So we help them kind of sort through that and work through that. And as Mrs. Murphy mentioned, helping them become their own best self-advocates along the way, right? And then focusing on communication strategies, right? Being effective communicators, whether it's verbally, via email, things like that. And then obviously, because we're a college prep high school, we're talking about college from day one, but we're not putting this stress on students with the expectation that we need them to know where they're going in 4 years, right? That's not what it is. It's planting some seeds along the way and getting them to think about college in different ways, right? A lot of students will come in saying, I want to go to UCLA as freshmen, right? Some of you might be thinking that yourselves. And what we're going to do is we're going to challenge you to think about why. Why UCLA? Is it because they're always, in the NCAA, sports, in their finals? Is it because they're always ranked by somebody, right? We're going to ask you to think a little bit more deeply about that. And then how do you pair that with your possible future career pathways? What does that look like? So we encompass all of that as your counselors, and we take great pride in doing that over the 4 years that you're here. One of the things that we highly, highly pride ourselves on is focusing on growth mindset, right? For those of you who maybe are not as familiar, this was made famous by the Stanford researcher Carol Dweck. And for those of you who don't know, I highly encourage you to Google Carol Dweck. And if you're looking for a summer read, pick up the book Mindset by Carol Dweck. Awesome, quick read, super easy, and it's going to give you some really useful mindset shifts, really, that you can use not just with your academic students, it could work for parents as well, in just the way that you encounter life's challenges and struggles, right? So mindset really, and growth mindset really kind of speaks to how we view and encounter setbacks and challenges and tough times, right? It's not uncommon for us to have students that will come to our office and say, I'm really poor in such and such subject. This subject is just not my thing. I've never been good at this. I never will be good at this, etc. Some of you might be thinking, hey, yeah, I've said that time and again, right? And that is a fixed mindset, right? That's a limiting belief that you're putting on yourself. When you put that out there, your actions are going to follow suit. You're not going to get very far if you have those beliefs. But with a growth mindset, you have somebody that might say, yeah, you know what, this area is really tough for me. It's hard, it doesn't come easy to me, but I still believe that I can grow. I still believe that I can learn a little bit more and be better than I was yesterday, right? That's growth mindset. And that's what we strive our students to have day in and day out, because let's be real, it's not easy here at JSerra. The academics are tough, the expectations are high, but each and every one of you has been admitted. That means you have shown that you are capable, that you're ready for this challenge. And so what we want you to do is adopt that growth mindset, because there will be tough times. There will be times when you feel like you're failing, even though you might just have a B-, right? And so how do we get through that? So Once we put up this presentation from tonight on the website, we're also going to include a link to just a little summary about what growth mindset is and the research that it's based on. So keep an eye out for that. And so a lot of families will come to us and say, hey, you know, I'm a sophomore or I'm a current freshman. How do I stay on track, right? What can I do currently? And so we have a really awesome tool on our JSerra website under the counseling portal, and it's called a guide by grade. So you see behind me there is a tab for each year, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. And it just gives you some ideas, some bullet points, some action items that you can consider just to kind of stay on track, right? And this could include things like making sure that you're joining a club, right? Being active in your campus community, making sure that you're staying on top of your Christian service hours and logging those right away in your X2Vol system. Maybe taking advantage of one of our college visit opportunities here on campus, right? Getting exposure to some of these things. And then what you'll notice is each year we're probably going to add a little bit more and a little bit more, maybe a little bit more specific, right? So that you know that every year you're kind of hitting the college prep stuff, the social stuff, the academic stuff, etc. So highly encourage you guys to check that out on our website and maybe bookmark it. All right. Another way to stay on track is through activities and obviously Christian service. Christian service is part of not just our mission, but it's also a graduation requirement. So students, you will be required to serve 80 hours in volunteer work in the community, helping fellow peers or helping other groups in need. And we also have a really robust student life, right? We've got a ton of clubs that are geared towards various interests. And so we have always encouraged students to get out there, get active early on, right? The benefit of joining the clubs, obviously, is it helps to connect students to other students. So if you're coming from a middle school that maybe we don't have a ton of students from, this helps you to connect with other people that might have similar likes and interests to you. It also helps build community, right? And we have clubs that not only are social, but will also incorporate community service in their work. And so you are building community here on campus and you're building community outside of campus. And that's really important, right? We are not sort of our own islands. We don't operate by ourselves. And we really want you students to take to heart that you were born with God-given gifts. You were born with talents. Share those with other people. Share your time with others, right? And you'll find that it's really going to enrich your life, okay? All right. So we're going to get into more sort of not so fun stuff, sorry. Grades and GPA calculation. So here at JSerra, every class is categorized in one of these categories. We have classes. Our main classes are college prep. So every single course that we offer here at JSerra is college prep. And then from there we might have, we do have honors classes, honors offerings. These typically tend to be faster paced. They go more in depth in the curriculum and in the material. And then on your transcript, you get an additional point for your grade, right? So obviously they require a deeper level of critical thinking and communication and things like that. Then we also have AP classes, and these go even further than the honors classes. They might be even more fast-paced and go in to more depth with the material at hand. And on top of that, they're college level courses. So many of these AP classes, if not all of them, are using a college textbook. And then at the end, towards the end of the school year, you're taking a standardized test through the College Board, right? So just like the honors classes, they will give you an additional point on your transcript for whatever grade you earn. Grades do count starting in the 9th grade. So this is something we often hear from families. It's like, well, you know, colleges are looking at my grades just from 10th and 11th grade, right? 9th grade doesn't count. That means I can just, you know, goof off and just pass, barely pass, right? No, we definitely want to encourage you to set the tone from the beginning, have a solid foundation, and understand that no matter where you go, whether it's off to college or whatever, the work that you do starting from day one matters, and it sets the tone for the rest of your 4 years here. In addition to that, it also might be the foundation for being able to meet prerequisites for upcoming AP and honors classes. So if we go back to what I mentioned earlier about beginning with the end in mind, if you're eventually wanting to get into AP government as a senior, you're going to want to make sure that you were in honors the year before and the honors in the year before that, right? So you want to be mindful of what you're doing in 9th grade. Our grading system is pretty straightforward. We have our final grades are broken down into 2 semesters, and each semester has 2 quarters, okay? Within each semester, each quarter counts for 40% of the final grade, and then your final exam counts for 20% of your final grade, okay? And then at the end of that semester, clean slate, start over again the next semester, okay? The semester grades are the only ones that go on your transcript, and they're the only ones that count towards your cumulative GPA, okay? All right.
I'm back. Okay, so these are some scheduling and summer contact information. We are here in the summer because many of you will be here doing summer school. So our summer hours will follow the regular summer school hours. Counselors are here on a rotating basis, so you won't be seeing your particular counselor during the summer. You can just call and ask for who's ever available, or you can email Ask Counseling, and whoever is available will help you out. So no worries, it's just that everybody's kind of in flux in the summer. Everybody rotates in and out, but we're definitely here to take care of you, so don't worry. Course placement is based on testing. So many of you took the HSPT, and then some of you are planning on taking some of the challenge exams. And if you meet the prerequisites and you meet the testing requirements, you will be placed in those classes. Schedule change procedures. So if you get a schedule at the beginning of the year and there's something wrong with it, or you feel like you've been misplaced, you definitely want to see your counselor, and we will take care of you. You can change classes the first 2 weeks of school. So say you signed up for honors English and you get in there and it's like, oh my goodness, you know, this is too much for me. We can help you to level down. It's very difficult to level up. So you definitely, if you think that you want to try a harder class and you qualify for it, I would start there, and you can always level down. You can also level down at the quarter and at the semester, but your grade will go with you at that point. The first 2 weeks of school, the grade does not go with you. So I know that's a lot, and some of you are probably going, oh my, I'm not quite sure what, but we will be happy to go over that again with you if you have any questions. If you want to stay connected with us, we do have a presence on social media. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, we have a Twitter account, and we also have a lot on YouTube. We put a lot of our presentations on YouTube, so if you ever miss a presentation or a college chat or anything that we've presented, you can always go on YouTube, and it should be there probably within a few days or to a week of when it was initially presented. These are some resources for you, so don't worry, you don't have to take photos of the screens here. We will be sending out this presentation to you, or it will be available to you on our website, on the admitted student part of the website. So these are some books and podcasts and some online programs that we found to be very useful. And then how to be a successful JSerra student. Ms. Celaya touched on some of these, but one of the biggest thing is to make use of your teachers and their office hours. Our teachers here really want to support you. They really do want you to be successful. And so it's very important that if you're struggling or if you need a little bit of extra help, that you go to office hours. Meet your teachers. They're really happy to get to know you. Time management is critical. Coming from middle school to high school is a big jump, and you have a lot of classes, and the homework is a lot more than probably most of you are used to. So time management is really going to be important. So if you struggle in this area, I would make sure that you maybe come and see us. We can help you. I would get a planner and write down your assignments and your homeworks, when your tests are, and become a really good person with time management. That is a key, really a huge key to success. Also, getting involved. Ms. Celaya talked about joining clubs and becoming involved, but statistics show that students who are involved actually do better academically, and that's because they're usually happier. So we want to make sure that you get involved to the level that you can handle. You know, join clubs, join campus ministry, there's ASB, there's so many ways that you can become involved in the JSerra community. And then last but not least, we want you to have balance. And I know I touched on that earlier, but having a balance, have time to sleep, have time to spend with your family. You know, your life should not be all academics, but we want to make sure that you can balance, you know, your academics, your social, your sports, your church, everything that you need to do. Okay, these are some other campus resources. Quickly, I'll go over these. Denise Pasco is our Vice Principal of Academics, so she oversees all the teachers. Zach Eckert is our Vice Principal of Student Formation and Leadership. He heads up campus ministry and anything related to faith formation. And then we have our marriage and family therapy, so if you want to just contact one of the therapists, you can just email this particular email and set an appointment or a meeting with them. We have two deans. We have Mrs. Desmond and we have Mr. Playa, and they are all about student conduct and dress code and student discipline. We also have Mr. Kevin Clemens. He's on the athletic side. He is our Associate Director of Athletics, so if you're going to be playing a sport, he's the one that's going to make sure that you're CIF eligible and that you're doing everything that needs to be done in that area. And then Amy Hemphill is our Athletic Dean of Students, so she's also on the athletic side, but she's making sure that the athletes are performing academically and that they're not failing classes and that they're staying eligible with their grades. We have Mrs. O'Berry. She's the Director of Activities, so she gets to do all the fun things like the dances and the rallies, and she's head of ASB, so that's really a fun way to get connected. And then we have Mr. Clute, and he is in charge of our Director of Learning and Support. So if you are a student who might be entering our CERP program, that is somebody that you would see or you would connect with. Or if you're interested in that program, you would want to connect with him. Okay, so now to some more fun stuff. Graduation requirements. You'll see this every year. You'll be able to say it in your sleep by the time you leave here. Theology, you need to have 4 years, so every year you have to take theology. English, you have to take for 4 years, and there are various classes in these, there are honors, there are AP, but you have to take some form of theology and English for 4 years. Mathematics, we only require you to have 3 years of math to graduate. However, we usually recommend that you take 4. Colleges really like to see 4 years of math. So you'll always hear us recommending for you to take 4 years. Same with science. We will always recommend to take science. Now there are cases where you are in a magnet and you're an athlete and you're in surf or you need spots. So and then we have to play with this a little bit. But for the most part, this is we will suggest math and science for 4 years. Social studies, you need 3 years. And Ms. Zelaya is going to explain these in a little bit more detail to you in just a minute. But you have to take social studies your freshman or sophomore year, and then you must take it junior and senior year. World language, we only require 2 years. We do recommend 3, especially if you're doing well in the language. Colleges like to see that. 1 year of a fine art, has to be the same fine art for both semesters for 1 year. PE, 2 years of PE. Now a sport can qualify for PE. So any sport that you do after school, you'll get 5 credits per season for that sport. Or you can take many of the athletics, many of the sports teams have a class associated with them 7th period. So if you're in baseball or soccer, you may have a 7th period class to go with your sport. In that case, you'll get 10 credits for that class and 5 credits for that particular sport. So you could have all your PE credits in 1 year. First year seminar in health, you all will be taking that either in the summer or in your freshman year. That's required. So basically you have 270 credits to graduate, which you will have no problem getting. And these requirements really follow the UC and the Cal State requirements, so you will be fine for our California state schools with these requirements. We also require 80 hours of Christian service to graduate. So we tell you to keep on track and do 20 hours per year, but that's not necessary. You could do 40 in 1 year, or I have a few seniors who are doing 80 hours this year. So, but try not to procrastinate that way. That's not the best. All right. Okay, and in the course catalog on our website, if you go to our website and you go on academics and then the course catalog, you can look up any of our courses. Also on this page here, you can't see it, but if you scroll down a little bit, there would be course offerings by grade. And so you could see, oh, what's available to me as a freshman, what's available to me as a sophomore. So we'll always have the classes up. But you can look on here and see what the prerequisites are for the class, what the class is about, how much homework is the teachers our average think there is, and also if it's NCAA or UC approved. So you get a lot of information there. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Zelaya.
Okay, before I continue, I'm seeing a lot of glazed over looks. I know we've given you guys a lot of information so far. So I want you to just take a deep breath. In and out. And realize that you're going to be okay, all right? So this is the part probably that stresses most of you, might stress most of you out. We're going to go through just some general information about course selections. And I want to encourage you to use the note page in your booklet, which is towards the back, to jot down any notes, any possible course selections that you're thinking about or for your student. Take notes on your phone, however you want to do it. But a couple general things to say first. So we do recommend students take advantage of our summer program. We offer first year seminar and health over the summer, and it's a great way to sort of get acclimated to the JSerra culture and community. It's a great way to start meeting new friends, and so we highly encourage you to consider summer. But we know that not everybody can accommodate summer school, so if you can only do one class, I recommend doing first year seminar. If you can't do either class, that's totally okay. We will work it into the academic year schedule. So just know that we've got your backs, we're gonna take care of you, and we're gonna help you get through, okay? The other thing that we wanted to let you know is that there is a QR code on page 14 of your booklet. this is going to open up the course selection worksheet or the course selection form. This form is going to go live starting tomorrow, but we don't want to cause a frenzy and make you think that you have to fill it in tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. That's not what we're looking for. This form is going to stay open between tomorrow all the way through June 9th, and that's really to give you time to think about what courses you want to take. You definitely don't need to wait for the challenge exam results to come back. You can submit course selections when you're ready, okay? And I want to stress that this is not a first come, first serve thing. It's not the first people to get, Spanish 1 listed are the ones that are going to get Spanish 1 on their schedules. It's really just, we want you to get your course selections done and put some really good thought into it. So we've left it open, that entire window, so that you can really take your time, okay? And if any questions come up as, this presentation goes on, we're gonna try to allot for some time for questions and answers at the end of the presentation. And then certainly after tonight, as you're sort of brainstorming and reflecting what courses you students want to take or parents you want your students to take, you can always email those questions to askcounseling@jserra.org. So one of our staff members in the counseling department will help you, and then we also have optional course selection workshops during the week of May 9th and also May 16th. Okay, so plenty of opportunities to get your questions answered, and don't feel the need to be rushed to complete the course selection form. If you do plan, as I mentioned before, if you do plan to take the challenge exams, we'll go ahead and put the results of those exams automatically into your course placements if you've already submitted your course selection form. And if you do decide to decline whatever placement you were given, say you wanted to test into geometry and you decided, you know what, I'm gonna kick back and stay with Algebra 1, you just need to let us know, okay? And you can do that by emailing askcounseling@jserra.org. All right, so with that, I'm gonna go ahead and go subject by subject. I'm gonna reiterate the graduation requirements and what your options will be. And I'm going to encourage you to just jot down what you think you want to take, or parents, what you think your student will want to take, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so theology is a 4-year requirement. You're going to take it every year that you're here at JSerra. And your options for next year are Theology 1 Foundations, Theology 1, or Theology 1 Humanities Honors. The only difference between Theology 1 Foundations and Theology 1 is that Foundations is typically the class that we place students who either don't have a Catholic background or have never been in a Catholic school. Everything else is the same. The material, the curriculum is the same. It's just delivered a little bit differently. So if that's you, you can pick Foundations. Otherwise, you can do 1. And if you've been admitted to the Humanities program, you'll be opting for Theology 1 Humanities Honors. English, this is a 4-year requirement. So again, just like theology, every year that you're here at JSerra, you will be taking an English class. And the options for next year are English 1, English 1A, English 1 Honors, and then English 1 Humanities Honors. So just as I mentioned before, the Humanities 1, obviously you need to be in that program. The English 1 Honors is based on your HSPT, and these are placements that should have already been communicated to you through admissions. And then English 1A is available to our CERP students. So any students who have been admitted to the CERP program, you will get a follow-up communication from our CERP program related to any special placements like English 1A. Science is a 3-year requirement, and for next year, your options will be Foundations of Biology, Biology, and Biology Honors. And Foundations of Biology is based on your HSPT scores. And then if anyone was placed into Foundations and wanted to try to get into regular biology, you can take the challenge exam for that. If you were placed into biology and you wanted to place into biology honors, you can take the challenge test for that. One thing to note about social studies is that this is an area that causes a lot of confusion. So I'm going to try to simplify it as best I can. Bottom line, it's a 3-year requirement. Some students will opt for 4 years, but it's not necessary. So it's a 3-year requirement, and the junior and senior year social studies classes are required. So your junior year and your senior year, you will for sure be taking a social studies class. That means that you can opt to take social studies freshman and or sophomore year. And so for your first year, we've got a couple different options, including ancient world history, regular world history, and world history honors with the Model United Nations. It's important to note that students can take social studies, they can forego social studies their freshman year and start it their sophomore year, or you can opt to take it the summer after your freshman year. So you've got a few different options. And so if questions come up specific to social studies, feel free to reach out to us and shoot us an email at Ask Counseling, okay? World language. So as Mrs. Murphy mentioned, this is a 2-year requirement. We do recommend the 3rd. And then if you're showing really solid grades and proficiency, we might even recommend a 4th. But it's important to note that the languages that we offer include Spanish, French, Mandarin, American Sign Language, and Latin, okay? Latin will be offered based on student enrollment. So we're really hoping to be able to have enough enrollment for an in-person class. Otherwise, we will have an online Latin option. And so one of the things that you do want to know on your course selection form for your world language is that if you select Spanish or Latin, you will not need to pick an alternate. The form will ask for an alternate. You could put the same world language, okay? Now, if you opt for any of the other languages, American Sign Language, French, Mandarin, you will need to put an alternate world language that's different than the first choice, okay? And that's because there might be course conflicts, there might be limited sections offered in that, and we're gonna give the upperclassmen priority, so you wanna make sure that you have an alternate, okay? The visual and the performing arts is a 1-year requirement, and then we also have an elective requirement of 4 years or 40 credits. So as you're jotting down some of these potential course selections, you might have already gotten to 7. And if I didn't mention this before, I apologize. Every single student needs to have 7 classes for their schedule every year, except possibly senior year. But for sure for freshman year, you'll have 7 classes. So many of you might have already reached your 7. And for some of you, not yet. So you could include a visual or performing art because that is a graduation requirement. That could include a variety of visual or performing arts. We have things like drawing and painting, digital photography, theater, dance, graphic design, broadcasting, etc. So tons of options to choose from. And again, if you do pick a visual or performing art, you will want to make sure that you pick an alternate or a backup, just so we know a couple of your interests. For some of you, you may be participating in a magnet course. That's going to be your elective. Maybe you won't have room for a fine art this year or a PE. That's okay. One of your spots is going to be taken by a magnet course, whether it's the business magnet or the law magnet or the medical magnet, okay? For some of you that are in the CERP program, students need to take a study skills course. So that needs to be worked into your academic year schedule. So that might take one of the periods. And then if none of those are you, then you have the possibility of taking an elective class. And we have a couple open to freshmen, not too many, but they include speech and debate and things like computing ideas, which is like the foundations of like computer science. For some of our student athletes, you will have the opportunity to take the PE sport class. So as Mr. Stroop mentioned, we've got a group of football guys that are heading off to some training. They will most likely have a PE football course embedded into their schedule. Not every single sport has a PE class, and so my best recommendation for you all is if you are a student athlete, you're gonna wanna check with your coach to see what, if any, course you need to include in your schedule. So some sports will opt to have their PE class only for varsity or only for special teams, things like that. So you want to just check with the coach to see if you need to include PE in your course selections, okay? And then with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our math department chair, Ms. Kathy Lee, and she's going to talk a little bit about math.
Hello, they invited me up here since there's usually a lot of questions regarding math placement. Again, my name is Kathy Lee, and I'll be available after the program to answer questions. You can also email me at klee, L-E-E, at JSerra.org if you have questions. So the state of California requires all students to have algebra and geometry. On page 16 of your freshman year guide, you can see the different math pathways available to JSerra students. The recommendation to take 4 years of mathematics comes from universities and colleges looking for 12th graders taking and successfully completing a rigorous academic course load, including any advanced level math course. All of these advanced level math courses you see are UC approved as advanced level math courses and also NCAA approved. An incoming 9th grader placement in math courses based on their HSPT score. So you guys were informed either Algebra 1 or Algebra 1 Honors. But students can opt to take the challenge exam if they wish to challenge their placement. Students in the class of 2027 come from over 60 middle schools. Given such diversity, a standardized test is utilized to assess whether students have the necessary foundational algebraic skills to thrive. Since math is a sequential subject, a weak foundation in algebra can impede a student's ability to build upon their knowledge and be successful in future math courses.
Okay, so we're getting to the end of our presentation here. This is a slide regarding our challenge exams. So I know you probably have seen this. It's also in your book. I do want to mention that if you are part of the CERT program and you've already been admitted to the CERT program and you would like to use extended time on these challenge exams, please either contact Mr. Clute or the department chair. So it would be, if English, it would be Mrs. McKegney, math, it would be Mrs. Lee, and world language, it would be Mr. Smith. So that would be available to you for the challenge exams. So, as Mrs. Lee said, the HSPT test only tests you up to a certain point. And if you want to challenge that, you can take any of these exams. So you can see these, they're in your book. And if you have questions, we're going to go into our question and answers. But this is our last slide, and we always say, gosh, now that we've given you all this information and We've probably stressed some of you out. We just want you to be calm, keep calm, and be a lion. So that now we can go to Q&A. Anybody has questions? Anybody? Oh, over there. Period 8 is used for some classes. There really isn't a standard period 8. Not everybody will have period 8. Some of the arts use that period for like improv. They'll use it for jams, which is for the choir. They'll use it for the orchestra, and it's maybe 2 days a week or 3 days a week. So it's not a standard 8th period. The question was, what's the 8th period? So it's not a standard 8th period. We do have a 0 period where we have a math lab for an Algebra 2 class, but that would be for students taking Algebra 2. Yes? No, you do not. But Rock Band, I believe you might have to audition. I'm not sure. You know? Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah. You can look at the prereqs. Yes. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I can't. Can you shout that a little bit louder? Can you say it a little bit louder? The difference between world history and world history honors? Is that your question? Okay. So the world history honors has the MUN component, which is Model United Nations. And that requires you, it's also an honors class, so it will be a more difficult class and will have, go in a little bit more depth. But the Model United Nations component is where you have conferences that you go to 4 times a year. You actually represent a country, and it teaches you how to advocate for that country, do legislation for that country. It's very interesting if you're interested in, world government. Any other questions? Oh. The question was, if you're going to miss a day or 2 of the summer session, could you still do the session? You can only miss 1 day of the in-person summer session. So I would recommend, if it's something you could take online, maybe that would work better for you. If it's, I think, first-year seminar, that might be a problem. They're pretty strict with that rule. Yes. The decision on in-person Latin will be once we get all the enrollments. So once you all put your enrollments in, and we're pretty much done with freshmen, and we might have a few current freshmen that would want to take a class like that. So probably not until sometime in the summer. Well, actually, we probably could get a list early June once we have all the enrollments in. Yes, there's ASL 1, ASL 2, and ASL 3. There may be an ASL 4 this year. We are just waiting to see if we have enough sign-ups. Yes. Was your question, once they've taken geometry in middle school, are they required to take it again in high school? No, as long as it's on their 7th or 8th grade transcript from middle school, you'll send that to us. We will put it on our high school transcript, and they will not be required to take it again. Right, Kathy? Yeah, she's right. Yes. what? I'll let Kathy in. I didn't hear the question. You're good? Okay, yes. You better come up and answer that. We're gonna let her answer the math question.
At JSerra, we require all of our students to take Algebra 2, whether it's Algebra 2 Trigonometry or Algebra 2 CP or Honors Algebra 2. That course will meet the state of California requirement for algebra. So you don't need to worry about whether you had algebra in middle school. For JSerra, since we require the Algebra 2 level, it meets the California requirement for algebra. But the geometry, if you took geometry in 8th grade, we can use that 8th grade geometry course as credit for the state of California. Their 9th grade math placement is based on their HSPT. So whether you have Algebra 1 in 8th grade, we don't look at that. We look at your HSPT score and your challenge exam score to determine if you have the algebraic foundation for algebra. Math?
If you're asking if Latin is offered, will they be able to take Latin honors? I don't know if we will be offering Latin honors. It may just be straight Latin 1. We're not sure because we don't have the class yet, and it's something that has just been being talked about recently. So I think it would. We'll have to wait and see on that one. We don't have a challenge exam for ASL 2, but I think if you, at the beginning of the school year, if you go into ASL 1 and you talk to the teacher and he feels that you can take ASL 2, then he can recommend that you level up. Mm-hmm. Yes. The question was, can you sign up for summer school now, or is there a special time? Summer school is open. It's been open now. You can sign up for summer school right now, or you can sign up later. Summer school does, some of those classes do fill up, so I would recommend, if you know what you're taking for summer school, that you sign up for that now. And then you don't need to worry about your current classes for next year, because we don't even make the master schedule until the summer. So we wait until we get all the course selections in, which will be June 9th, and then we put them in the computer and it spits out the schedules. So there's no hurry for your classes for next year. Summer school, I would sign up as soon as you know. Yes? Kathy, do you know? 1 week. Kathy's saying 1 week.
Can I make a quick note?
Yeah, she's going to make an announcement.
I'm just going to make a quick note to our folks tuning in via live stream. So you obviously don't have the QR code that's in the booklet that our in-person guests have. And so I just wanted to make sure that you knew that starting tomorrow, there will be a link to the course selection form on the admitted students website through the JSerra website. So you're not missing out on anything. And then, if you're on campus, stop by and you can pick up one of those booklets too.
Any other questions? Am I missing anybody? We'll be hanging around too, so where? Oh, there you are. Yes, the honors classes get a so that means that an A is worth 5 points instead of 4 points. They get an extra point. Yes. Yes. Yes, the question was, is an A minus is that a different GPA calculation than an A and an A plus? Some schools do that. In college, they do that. But no, an A here is 4 points or 5 points, whether it's an A minus or an A or an A plus. Yes. No, the question was if you know that your student cannot be here to take a class like health, could you do it through your current school district? No. You can do health online here. You can do it any summer. You can do it during the year. It's a class that has to be done before you graduate, so there's no hurry to do health. I know we do pair it a lot of times with freshmen with first year seminar, but you don't have to do that. Oh, yes. They have to take a fine. The question was if they're in a magnet, is that their elective all 4 years? They do have to take a fine art. So on the magnet pathways, they usually have a 4-year plan. So you can see where the fine art might fit in. We'll help them fit that in. A note about the electives. Anything extra in a category comes out on the transcript as an elective. So we only require 3 years of math. That 4th year of math is categorized as an elective. Same with the science, the PE, extra PE is an elective. Extra, if you take more than one art class, those are electives. So there's a lot of ways to get your elective credits. Any extra language, anything extra. Am I missing anybody? Oh, you had a question right there. I do believe there is an audition for the orchestra, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think so. But you know what? They're so happy to have you. I'm sure you'll be fine. They will love, especially trombone. That's awesome. Any other questions? Am I missing anybody? Wave at me. Like I said, we'll be hanging around for a little while if you have other questions. But thank you so much for coming. We're so excited. Oh, and if you don't mind, take your trash with you. Take your water bottles. There's trash cans up at the top. You can throw them in. Thank you so much.